They laughed in my face, told me I wasn't professional enough, said they'd find a real production house to clean up my mess. What they didn't know, that mess was about to become their worst nightmare. A nightmare that would cost them not just their jobs, but millions of dollars. This isn't just a story about getting fired. It's about a university's brutal corporate culture, an unjust manager, and how I turned a $2,200 firing into a multi-million-dollar payout for someone else, and a sweet, sweet 15% for myself. Stay tuned, because this is the story of how I pulled off the ultimate act of silent sabotage. If you've ever felt the sting of injustice, if you've been underestimated, or if you've secretly dreamed of delivering a perfectly tailored comeuppance to someone who wronged you, then hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel and get ready, because this Reddit revenge story is going to make you believe in karma all over again. It was the early 2010s, a different era, before every kid with a smartphone was a content creator. Back then, getting a gig in video production, especially one that promised to kickstart a university's entire branding campaign on YouTube, felt like hitting the jackpot. The pay wasn't stellar, mind you, a humble $2,200 USD for what sounded like a groundbreaking role. But for a budding creative like me, it was a foot in the door, a chance to build something, to make an impact. I walked into that university office on my first day, a spark of optimism burning bright, ready to change the world, one YouTube video at a time. That spark died a quick death on my second day. My new manager, a woman whose smile seemed permanently plastered on, a smile that never quite reached her eyes, slid a document across her desk. My key performance indicators: 85 videos, between 3 and 10 minutes each, all in 52 weeks, for a single person. My breath hitched. 85 videos, a single person, in a year. This wasn't just ambitious, it was impossible. Think about what that meant back then. This wasn't just shooting some TikToks on an iPhone. This was full-blown production, scripting, producing, casting, shooting, even composing original music because they were too cheap for royalty-free subscriptions. And the kicker? Their university equipment was ancient. I'm talking cameras that struggled with 720p, computers that choked on anything above standard definition. So naturally, I'd have to use my own high-end gear and professional software. Everything. My equipment, my software, my time, my sanity. I tried to explain. I tried to lay out the sheer logistical nightmare of it all, but she just smiled, that same unblinking smile. "Just give it a try," she chirped, her voice dripping with saccharine encouragement. "If the videos are good, quantity won't be our focus." A tempting lie, a soothing balm to my growing unease. And like an idiot, I believed her. I agreed. What was the worst that could happen? For the first month, things seemed okay. She was civil, even pleasant. I was working like a maniac, easily pulling 4 hours of overtime every single day, pouring my heart and soul into every single frame. I was exhausted, but I was building something. I was creating. Then one seemingly innocuous detail changed everything. She found out I was a smoker. I remember telling a colleague casually about how my manager had mentioned it. My colleague's face immediately turned into a perfect facepalm. "Oh no," she whispered, her eyes wide with a mix of pity and alarm. "She hates smokers, absolutely despises them. She even tries to get them fired." Suddenly, the pieces clicked into place. The sweet smile evaporated. Her entire demeanor transformed overnight. Every interaction became a microscopic inspection of my existence. It started small. "You smell like cigarette smoke after your breaks." Then it escalated. "You were 5 to 10 minutes late, despite working 4 hours of overtime daily." The accusations piled up. "You're not contactable during your break times." It was a relentless, petty barrage of nitpicking designed to chip away at my resolve, to make my life a living hell. But I soldiered on. I pushed through the exhaustion, the passive-aggressive jabs, the thinly veiled disdain. I just wanted to do the work, to do it well. I was putting out amazing content, videos that were, frankly, blowing up their YouTube channel, racking up more views than anything they'd ever had. I was exceeding expectations in every metric that mattered. 5 months in, the axe fell. The email landed in my inbox. Meeting with the director. My stomach plummeted. I walked into that office, and there she was, my manager, putting on her absolute best performance of displeased but gleeful. Her eyes, though feigning disappointment, shone with a malicious delight that made my blood run cold. The director, a stern-faced woman who rarely showed emotion, delivered the crushing blow. "I'm disappointed, Mr. Protagonist's name. I understand you're falling behind. You've only completed 30 out of 85 videos, and we're already halfway through the year." My mind raced. 30 videos? Each one a masterpiece of one-man production, I explained, my voice pleading for understanding. "I've been working my butt off, 6 days a week, over 60 hours. It's impossible for one person. And the quality, the views. These videos are the most successful you've ever had." My manager herself said she was looking for quality over quantity. The director waved her hand, dismissing my efforts like lint from her jacket. "The KPI is 85 videos in a year. Your numbers are less than half. We feel it prudent to cut the cord early." Then came the punch to the gut. I asked, bewildered, "How will you even meet the KPI if you fire me now?" My manager, unable to contain her glee, let out a derisive snort. "We'll find a professional production house to finish your work." The director shot her an odd look, a flicker of something unreadable, but then nodded, backing her up. "You don't need to worry. Manager will get the job done." That was the moment. That was the light bulb. See, as the resident content professional, one of my lesser-known duties was maintaining a highly confidential database of production houses. A list of contacts meticulously curated to be used only in dire circumstances for massive projects requiring extensive resources. And I knew with absolute certainty that my manager had zero contacts in the production industry. She would be using my database. A cold, calculated calm settled over me. I went home that night and I didn't sleep. Instead, I meticulously, painstakingly, went through every single entry in that database. I changed contact numbers. I messed up email addresses. I corrupted files. Every single entry except for one. The one remaining pristine entry was for a production house where a good friend worked. He was a junior director there, not an assistant, but a director assigned to smaller video projects. I knew he was hungry, ambitious, and looking for his big break. I called him. My voice was calm, almost casual, but inside I was buzzing. I laid out the situation, my plan, and sure enough, within 2 days, his production house received a call. They were invited to pitch. "Look," I told him, "this is a win-win. This is your fast track to a full director position. This is the kind of business that will put your production house on the map. And for me, it'll benefit me
financially." I promised him the exact playbook: how to pitch, how to charm, how to win over the director and my now former boss. In return, his company would pay me a standard finder's fee, 15% of the entire contract. He agreed instantly, without hesitation. He even put me on the line with his general manager, who, upon realizing this was a 6-month contract for a high 6-figure payout, didn't even blink. The contract was drawn up immediately. And so, my metaphorical, step-by-step playbook worked like a charm. My friend's production house became the perfect fit. They somehow understood the university's niche needs, their unique style, the precise themes they wanted to feature. It was uncanny. My former director and my infuriatingly smug ex-boss were simply amazed by their insight, their familiarity with the university's content. They signed them on the spot. Now, let me tell you, even back then, hiring a full-fledged production house was not cheap. Each video they produced? It could cost double to triple my entire monthly salary. Why? Because they had specialized people for every single function: a producer, a director of photography, a gaffer, a dedicated sound person, a video editor, assistant directors, production assistants, the whole 9 yards. But this also meant they were ridiculously efficient. They could pump out a new video every 2 to 3 days. So, while I had produced 30 videos in 5 months, working myself to the bone, this professional production house produced the remaining 50 videos in a mere 4 months. And they did it for a price tag that exceeded 100 months of my salary. And I sat back. And I collected my healthy 15%. That finder's fee? It amounted to roughly 15 months of my salary. Just for a few clicks and a perfectly timed phone call. That money allowed me to put aside a tidy sum for a dream holiday. The rest? It funded my studies at a respected film school overseas. I thought that was it. My perfect, elegant revenge. I was out. They were in a deeper hole. Justice served. But the universe, it seems, had an even sweeter, more poetic ending in store. I was on holiday in Bali, soaking up the sun, the gentle waves, the sweet taste of freedom and vindication, when my phone rang. It was that same colleague. The one who had given me the facepalm when I told her about my manager's hatred for smokers. Her voice, usually calm, was buzzing with barely contained excitement. "You're not going to believe this," she practically shrieked. "Your former manager? She's been fired." My glass nearly slipped from my hand. Fired? My manager? The woman who had made my life hell? And, my colleague continued, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper, the director? She got a massive blasting from the chancellor of the university. It all came spilling out. The content creation project, the one I was hired for, only had a budget equating to about a year and a half of my salary. They had just exceeded that budget by over 10 times. My former manager, so desperate to show the director that she could finish the project after firing me, had thrown all caution to the wind. She approved the massive spending of my friend's production house, paying anything and everything just to get the job done, all without getting consent from the director. She had cornered herself, and in her desperation, she'd plunged the entire department into a financial abyss. The director, for her part, had overlooked the manager's incompetence, trusting her blindly, and now, the chancellor was furious. Millions over budget, all because of an absurd KPI and a manager's petty vendetta against a smoker. That's how my friend, the junior director, got a superfast promotion to a full director in his production house. And that's how I, the unfairly fired content creator, ended up getting a year's worth of my old salary, just by orchestrating the perfect revenge. All from a simple act of digital reorganization. Sometimes, justice doesn't come with a bang, but with a quiet, precise, digital strike. It's a powerful reminder that when people try to undermine you, underestimate you, or outright betray you, their own arrogance and short-sightedness can be their ultimate undoing. This wasn't about malice, it was about balance. It was about proving them wrong, not with anger, but with an intelligent, well-executed plan. If this story gave you that satisfying chill down your spine, if you felt every ounce of that emotional arc, then smash that like button right now. And tell me in the comments below, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever witnessed or even pulled off yourself? Don't forget to subscribe for more true stories of sweet, sweet payback. Until next time, stay smart, stay strategic, and may your karma always be on point.